It's your boy TreJuanJohnson back with another episode of the No Disrespect But podcast. Honestly, before we get started, you gotta make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. Always feel free to comment. Just keep those comments respectful. And today, for I think the third year in a row, we having the Mass NFL mock draft. And if you guys caught my Twitter live or X live yesterday, I told you guys I had some really good guys with me doing this with me. Some guys that have some really good football knowledge that goes beyond who that nation and the New Orleans Saints. And so just wanted to make sure I had them in there because they're gonna make this feel like a true NFL draft and what we can expect on Thursday. With you don't know who's gonna get picked and having a bounce back if somebody picks the player that you had higher on your board and having an audible and get somebody else that maybe was the second or third highest on your board. But your fan base will never know that because the press conference, they're going to say, this was the guy we wanted all along. And that's just how it works. But, man, it's going to be a good crowd. Before we get started, man, I just want all these guys are friends to the show. They've been on an episode or two. But I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves. If you can see our screen, this is the order that we're drafting in. So we're going to start with Kelvin. Introduce yourself to the folks, man.
What's up, y'all? I'm Kelvin. I'm part of the Days Not Over podcast. Y'all check it out. We're gonna be spinning the block on that real soon. Uh, yep. As far as football knowledge, look, I've been my whole life playing ball. Just got done with my seventh season of college football. I'm ancient. Uh, yeah, we here.
Heard
We
that, Brandon
finna.
Whedon.
Hey, look, we repping it right here. You feel me? Number 4 from Northwest Missouri State, Calvin Rise. We here. But yeah, man, good to be here.
And I know the guy with the second pick. I'm doing my boy Take Visuals.
Yep, as you know, Tay Visuals, man, real name Dante. Um, co-host of the Bayou Ballers podcast with my dog Trey. Little bit ultimate Saints fan since a little child, but I ain't gonna be too biased this draft. Um, and that's about it. We're gonna have a good time, y'all.
I'm like, Kevin, go ahead, boy.
My name Kevin. Go by Fats Domino on Twitter. Um, from New Orleans, Louisiana, living in the Bay. I love football. I love talking gym and nutrition. Anybody who see me jokes on Twitter, I talk about Mortal Kombat fighting game stuff. But I love me some football, Saints football, but football all around. So electrician. So I kind of got my hand in a few things out here. I gotta be diverse on some stuff, but here to enjoy the draft with y'all.
My boy Ace.
Yep, it's Ace from the Penalty Talk Run and Gun podcast. I'm running the other name today right now, but it's all good. Yeah, we talk HBCU, NFL, NBA, NHL, all the pro sports. Fan of the Saints, when they don't get me mad like everybody else, I guess. But yeah, that's about it. Trey's always a big friend of the show for us, part of the family, So we just come back on, popping up, showing up from aboard.
So, and last but not least, Logan.
I'm Logan Graff here. Everyone knows me on Twitter as the Soulman 57. I like to consider myself the Slidell Mel Kiper because I'm from and born and raised in Slidell, Louisiana. And I know Dante and Trey for a long time now. So them and I went to Southeastern together, became really close friends, and I'm happy they have me on, and I'm ready to get going.
Say, why you not Ty McShea? Why you chose Mel Kiper?
Because Mel Kiper still works for ESPN. Because Mel Kiper still has a job with ESPN. Tom McShay doesn't.
Dang.
Oh, Lord,
Just to add a little bit to everybody's introductions, man, Logan, you mentioned he's the Mel Kiper of Slidell, and this guy has a draft guide out right now. So if you're not following him on Twitter, make sure you do that. He posted it. Read that. It's going to be extremely detailed. Again, Ace with the Run and Gun podcast, really good content. They stream every Wednesday, so make sure you catch them. My boy Kevin, you can pretty much catch him on every media platform, but make sure y'all follow him on TikTok too, which is kind of his getting your body right journey. Dude definitely educated me on some stuff, so make sure y'all follow him. And Ted, he mentioned, us being co-hosts on the Bayou Ballers podcast. And my guy also has his own YouTube channel. has his Take Visuals podcast where he talks with a bunch of people in the health and wellness space, people in the music space. So make sure y'all subscribe to his channel as well, and catch that. And then Calvin, look, of all of us, this is going to be a guy that possibly will be making these decisions soon, if the Lord says the same. So this is a little practice for him. Maybe if you do good in these picks, if the Titans listen to you or some of these other teams listen to you and they paying out, you can probably put that on your resume or whatever as to why they need to give you the pick. But without further ado, man, the Titans are on the clock.
Ooh.
All right. Well, look. I mean, look. This ain't even gonna take no time. This is a no brainer. I'm running up to the podium. We send in Cam Ward. I mean, Titans need a quarterback. We need a quarterback. Uh, number one rated quarterback in the draft right now. I mean, he's everything that you really want in a quarterback. He got the confidence as well. And let's get it. Cam Ward. Real easy.
Okay. Like it. Okay, Cleveland,
Okay.
you are on the clock.
Simple pick. I like that pick. But with the second pick in this mock draft, the Cleveland Browns are gonna go with Travis Hunter out of Colorado. Pretty simple pick for me. Gonna play both sides of the ball. I know I could have went quarterback with this pick, but for the fun of this draft and being kind of realistic too, I want you guys to battle for that second QB who's gonna come off the board. And we got a surefire talent with Travis Hunter. We can't miss quarterback. I say quarterback, cornerback, or wide receiver. So we're gonna go with Travis
Mm,
Hunter, man.
okay.
I will
Well,
also add, if anybody wants, they could propose trades. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but you could do it if you want to trade up for a
we,
guy.
I don't trust none of
Or
y'all. We are not proposed trades.
Alright, fine.
So,
Just trying to get a little spice.
we know it's gonna happen in real life, but for
Mhm.
my purposes, I don't need. I done been in enough fantasy leagues. I done seen some great trades, so we not gonna do that. But without further ado, the Giants, your boy is on. We're on the clock, and look, I'm going with Shador Sanders. I think everybody's trying to
What?
uh, push Abdul
Whoa.
Carter to us, and of course the signings of Russell Wilson and James Winston and those veteran quarterbacks. Yes, those are we need to start winning some games, but at the same time we need to establish yourself for the future. And if there's going to be a player that I know I can put in, and that they're not going to get me fired because I believe in them that much, it's going to be Shador Sanders. He's going to be the
Hmm.
future of the New York Giants organization, the Big Apple. It's going to be perfect timing. So we running with it.
I like that. I like that pick. Before y'all move on, who you would have picked if I would have grabbed Shador with the second pick?
I would have picked
Travis?
Travis Hunter. I'd pick
Okay,
Travis. Yeah.
I got you. Go ahead.
Okay. Patriots, New England Patriots. We could go. We could go anyway with this pick, but they already took Travis Hunter, and we don't need a quarterback. I'm gonna go with Mason Graham. I'm gonna go with Mason Graham.
Mm,
Try to get the best D tackle off the board. We just
okay.
lost that guy, Godshaw. I think Delvin Godshaw.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think I forgot. Yeah, so want to get that line good with the best D tackle in the draft. So I'm gonna go with Mason Graham.
Unstopper.
Okay.
Boy, alright. Y'all set this up for me. Okay, in real life, if this is how the board went in real life, Jacksonville's taking a haul and somebody's trading up for Abdul Carter. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care. I'm still just running to this pick right now, and I'm taking Abdul
Oh
Carter. That means you
God,
got
Mason Graham.
Trayvon Walker, Josh Hines Allen, and Abdul Carter in your rotation. Ooh, I'm running to that board for Abdul Carter. I'm just running quick.
I learned this not easily.
Well, with the way the
Right.
board is falling, you have the top two tackles are still on the board, Will Campbell and Armand Mambeau, but you can't pass on Ashton Genty. I mean, my comp for him in my draft guy was Priest Holmes, if anyone
God
remembers who
damn.
that is. But I'm thinking since the Raiders they got Geno, they're going with Pete Carroll. I'm thinking they're going to try to turn back the clock and rekindle some of that old Seattle Seahawks magic run game. So I'm thinking Ashton Genty is the pick here at number 6 for the Las Vegas Raiders.
GNT.
Okay.
All right.
God damn.
I am updating the ticker right now.
Okay.
All right, hey,
We'll go
Jets
back to the
up,
top.
number
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
All right, so this board fell pretty nice, not gonna lie. The guy that I got us picking here. He's still here. I could go a number of ways with this. Uh, Wide receiver, tight end type. The tight end room is just absolutely devoid of any talent whatsoever. See, I see Tyler Warren there, but you got a new quarterback in Justin Fields. You want to protect your new quarterback as much as you can. We're gonna go with Armand
Okay.
Mimbu, tackle out of
Okay.
Mizzou. Dude had an 85.9 PFF grade last season for pass protection. I mean, what better guy to protect your quarterback than him? And for a guy like Justin Fields, he needs all the time he can. So I know that tight end room is a little bit weak, but I feel like tight end this year. I feel like you can get some real good talent in the second, third round with tight end. So they might spin the block there.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
A lot
Carolina,
of
Tate
talk about the
Visual
tight
going
end.
good.
With just set me up perfectly with all the tight end talk. We about to get your guy Trey Bryce Young some help and some weapons. I was really mad with that Ashton Jennings pick because I was gonna go with him and help Chuba Hubbard out in the backfield. But we're gonna go with Tyler Warren, tight end, get Bryce Young a nice big body in the middle to man that field. Hopefully he can have a Brock Bowers impact and help Bryce Young because he showed a little bit at the end of the season. So we're gonna go with Tyler Warren, man.
Mm. Well, Saints are on the board, and much like division rivals, um, when you have a division rival in front of you, they tend to try to go after a prospect that you really want. So thanks, Carolina, for that. Um, I'm gonna give my next pick a little bit of a caveat. Okay. Um,
Okay.
of course, we're not doing any trades. Um,
All right.
and so, because we're not doing any trades, my mindset is Saints need a quarterback. They need a quarterback of the future. I don't really care if that quarterback's going to be starting day one or not. And with a lot of the talks about, they're wanting to trade back in, and or they're trying to trade up high in the second round to get a quarterback. Well, to me, that's just a little bit of a fire sale to see what type of deal you can get. But I think when you're at pick 9, of course you want to go best player available. I would recommend
Hmm.
it, but for sake of securing what I want for my franchise, what my head coach uh, has every opportunity to be able to do, the type of prospect that he won with. Um, I will reach and I will draft Jalen Milroe, quarterback out of Alabama at 9.
Man, look at
Oh
Logan. Logan
yes,
finna
I was
Logan
shocked.
finna flip out his seat. That one. Logan finna flip.
Hold on, boy. I gotta scroll for this man. Holy crap!
Logan
It's
He
finna
not
flip
he
Logan
out the
handled it
Snook.
better than
seat.
I
It's
thought he
not
Just
would.
click
Tyler Snook.
And
offense.
like I
Just
said,
click offense, bro.
Nah,
normally
I already got it, but
I'm
it's like thank God it's Tyler
normally I'm
Snook.
in the mindset of pass catcher and or defensive player, and then you figure
Mm.
out who's left out of Dart or Milrow, and you pick them at 40. But with all this smoke going on, it's starting to look like some fires, and I don't think those two prospects will be there at 40. And so you roll the dice. So whether that's
I
Dart or
told
Milrow, but I'm going with who the head coach has had the most success with, and so that's the type of prospect that Jalen Milrow is. So that's why I
you,
went with him.
homer to homer. My boy, the
Yep.
homer.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Oh, good God Almighty, help me.
That boy don't broke Logan up in here.
Man,
I'm not
you
even gonna
ain't no
Picking
way,
comment.
it better
Sway.
than I
Seven
thought.
you up, Chicago.
All
Ain't no
right.
way, Sway.
All right. The Bears. Caleb Williams was one of the most sacked quarterbacks last year. A lot of that was due to his own doing. But Ben Johnson, new coach, getting there. He come from one of the best offensive lines in the league. So I see him valuing the offensive line heavy. So I'm gonna go with Will Campbell out of LSU.
Hmm.
Uh Protect the nail painter.
Okay. It's a good pick.
Trey, you had me in the first half. Not gonna lie, I really thought you was gonna go and say Jackson Dart there for a second. And thank
Would
God it
have been
I
a
wasn't him.
thought
I
about
was
it.
smarter,
Tower Shuck.
would have been a
So
smarter idea.
you got me happy now. All
That's
right,
what I
but
thought.
Be
Not bad
San
nice,
for
Logan.
college
Francisco.
Be
production, Logan.
nice.
All right,
All
I'm
right,
gonna be
objective
good.
purposes. San Francisco. Looking at this board. Um. Ooh, this is a tough one. I ain't gonna lie. It would be between Jalen Walker, Will Johnson, and Jade Barron. Uh, I am gonna take a reach here, and I'm taking Jade Barron at
Mm.
11. Texas 49ers need help on the back end. Lost Javarius Ward in the offseason. Ugo Amadi left. Not Ugo Amadi. What's his name?
Who
Jeez, I'm
Justin
forgetting his
Fields?
name.
Travarius Ward, not
No,
Ward,
not
no.
Ward. He
Tavares
was on the
Ward.
Saints and he left. Anyways,
Oh,
Oh,
Isaac, you eyed him. Yeah.
yeah,
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 Isaac
yeah,
got him.
Yiadom.
I got him. I
yeah, yeah,
got him.
yeah. That guy. So yeah, they lost
That
two
guy.
guys in the back thing. I'm taking Barron over Johnson just because of how the measurables and stuff worked out at the combine, and talent wise, I think he's right up there with him. So I'm taking Barron there at 11.
So I'm picking for the Dallas Cowboys. I should be doing that since Jerry Jones don't know what the heck he's doing. So
Let's see if you know what
go.
you're doing.
So Dak Prescott has zero weapons on offense outside of just CeeDee Lamb. If he
Okay.
goes out there this year, he's just going to have CeeDee Lamb. So the smart thing would be get Dallas some more weapons. Yes, you can go running back here, maybe reach for like Amari Hampton from North Carolina, but you got to get CeeDee Lamb some receiver, or you got to get Dak Prescott some receiver help. So the best receiver on the board is Tech McMillan from Arizona, and that gives you a dynamic duo in Dallas. So Tech
Okay.
McMillan would be as the pick.
You do know what you're
That's a
doing.
good pick.
Okay.
He
Yeah,
kind
that
of
boy
he
felt
kind
pretty
of
nice
slid. He
for.
kind of slid too.
Yeah, yeah, he slid on that. Hey, Cowboys,
Okay.
Cowboys got a nice little board there. I ain't gonna lie. Uh, Shout out to the Dolphins. We up. I ain't gonna lie, that Jade pick hurt my heart because I sure was gonna go there. Uh, Look, we know how the Dolphins team is built. Speed, 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 speed. So there's a lot of places I can go here. Uh, with the Tyreek Hill trade
Okay.
potentially happening, you could go Matthew Golden. Dude ran a
Mm.
4.29. What a great way to replace Tyreek Hill and another guy just like him. But with all that being said, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Will Johnson. With Jalen Ramsey potentially being traded,
Ooh,
you got a guy who
Yep.
is pretty similar in build to Jalen
I love that
Ramsey.
pick.
Mm-hmm.
He got the size, the playmaking ability. If Jalen Ramsey is still on the team for training camp and all that, then he can instill some wisdom on the Will himself, and you can potentially go ahead and just build your own Jalen Ramsey at that point. And especially when they don't have a clear cornerback too whatsoever, I definitely think corner is the way to go here with Will Johnson.
I love that pick. Will Johnson is kind of slid as well too. That a lot of people got him going to the Saints. Um, Obviously he wasn't gonna fit the coach pick because we just got the guy y'all was talking about, Javarius Ward. We got Kenny Moore over there, but we have no weapons for Anthony Richardson, or if it's Daniel Jones who gonna start for
Respect
us.
Michael
So
Pittman and Adonai Mitchell, man. God
now,
dang.
now we also have Josh Downs too, but I'm talking about at the tight end room.
Ah,
So we're gonna go with Coast and Loveland out of Michigan.
God
Probably a
damn it.
reach. Probably a reach. He was
God
injured.
damn
Well,
man.
he is injured with his
I didn't
shoulder
Gotta
want
go.
injury.
him.
But I think once he gets cleared, he's gonna man the middle of the field. It's crazy. My last two picks was tight ends, but I think he'll be great for either quarterback, whoever starts. They both have kind of big arms, but obviously they need a lot to succeed in this league. Anthony Richardson don't hasn't played as much football, but we'll see how he bounce back. But that's my pick, man. Tight end from Michigan.
Okay.
damn.
Right. Well, um, a pick I hate to
I was
make
slipped on that.
just because it's the Atlanta Falcons, but I did tell Atlanta Falcons fans that I wasn't going to do them wrong and pick a punter or something with the 15 overall pick, even though I really, really want to. Like, I really, really want to. But when you think about the
Listen,
Falcons, I mean, they needed help in the secondary. They need to
Yep.
put somebody next to, can't remember my boy's name from Clemson, Terrell. But the top two cornerbacks off
AJ.
the board
Mm-hmm.
with Will Johnson and Jade Barron being off of the board. And so to help a secondary that's already not that good, you need to improve a defensive line that's also not that good, and not being able to generate the pressure that they thought they were going to be able to get when they traded
Hmm.
for Ned Judon a season ago. So that's the pick I'm gonna go with, and uh, I'm gonna go with Michael Williams out of University of Georgia. Um, he's a different prototype. Obviously, you can put him inside, and he can replace a Kalai Campbell who went to Arizona. But he can
Hmm.
also be a guy that you can stand up and put out wide. Obviously, guy's been mocked to a division rival in the New Orleans Saints, and of course, like any good rivalry, you have almost the same board as your rivals, so to speak. And so, I think if a guy like Michael falls out of the top 10, I can see him being picked by the Falcons. Wanted to really go Jalen Walker here as well, but he's maybe too much of a tweener for my taste,
Hmm.
and so I decided to go with Michael Williams, knowing his upside, both as an edge rusher and maybe even somebody with his size and ability to put his hand in the ground for that 3-4 defensive lineman. So that's where I'm rolling with.
Okay.
Okay. Cardinals on the clock. The head coach is a defensive head coach. I feel like their defense could get a little bit stronger. I want to add a pass rusher. I'll add the pass rusher from Alabama, Jihad Campbell.
Oh,
Huh?
Okay.
Jihad.
damn.
Well,
Hold up. Is Jalen Walker still on the board?
He's still on the
Yeah,
board,
but I already kind
Oh,
of
but
he's
you
just.
already
still
counted.
okay.
Hey,
Hey, that makes my life easy because then I could just
that's a
run up
good
to this
pick.
board.
That's a
that's
good pick.
great. Good
That
pick. Good
makes
pick.
I mean,
that makes life hard for
I'm gonna be
me.
real. Most likely, I think Mike Green goes here to Cincinnati as Sam Hubbard retired and Trey Hendrickson's on the block.
Hmm.
But since he's not, and you boys right here, I'm taking Jalen Walker right here. He might be a little bit of a scheme fit, but best player available. You need talent on the defense after paying the top dogs on offense. I could see Eamon Wari
Yeah.
also being a spot here for him. You
Hmm.
know, especially with the AFC with the big boys running. Could use that kind of talent in the back end, but Jalen Walker, too good of a talent to just let him go by you, especially with the defensive need.
So since Kevin kind of took my pick, I was kind of hoping Jihad Campbell was just going to keep sliding and sliding. I was keeping quiet, but the Cardinals took the pick, and I thought Jalen Walker was going to fall to number 18 as well because Mike McDonald, defensive head coach. But I mean, I can go Mike Green here, but the Seahawks are doing a new regime on offense. Clint Kubiak is there now. All you have at receiver is Marquez Valdez-Scanlon and JSN. So you kind of need another receiver, and the best one available right now is Matt Golden. So I'm going to go with Matt Golden from Texas.
Mm,
Matt Golden.
Okay.
Hey, you think
Okay.
Matt Golden
I
is
mm.
second
like
best
that.
receiver?
They could use some more size
Okay.
out there, but that's a good speed demon to have with JSN. I like it.
Not
I'm
mad at it.
sliding. Sliding. Come on.
Man.
Come
That
on.
jihad, that G.I. Campbell pick hurt my heart. The Bucks
It
really
did.
needed a guy like that.
It hurt
No,
I
I
mine
was
think the
saying
too.
Bucks
here.
move up for him.
Yeah, like I could have swore he was gonna be here for the Bucks, and now I gotta sit here and go with my backup plans. So obviously, right, you got Ted Bowles' defense. Ted Bowles' defense is known for heavy blitzing. You want fast guys there. You want strong guys. You want guys that can pass rush. I think Jihad would have been great for this team. But with that being said, with the way that this board is looking, mm, I hate to
Going.
do it. I hate to do it because I love this guy with all my heart. But
Please don't.
I gotta take Mike Green.
Mm.
I think
Okay.
Mike Green. I don't think he's getting enough love in this draft. Look, I'm a D lineman myself. I know D line prospects. I think he's gonna have a Jerry Burst type of year with high production. I think he's gonna be real plug and play in this defense.
Hmm.
And when you're blitzing, having a guy like Mike Green who's really polished in the pass rush and really productive himself there, all by himself with a super high motor, high effort, it makes the linebacker's job a whole lot easier. Tackle's gonna have to go ahead and key in on him. So surprised that he's still here, but Mike Green, I think he's
Mm.
definitely one of the best pass rushers in this draft. So he's going here with 19.
That's a good pick. Can't really be mad at that.
Okay. I'm not mad at that at all. Picking right, right. I'm talking as if I'm a Saints, but I'm the Broncos right now. I'm picking the Broncos, and I will for Eaton. We knew he loves his offense, and he needs a running back bad. We're going to go with North Carolina running back Amari Hampton. Um, Real bell cow had as many as 30 carries multiple times with North Carolina this past year. Big yardage, 200-yard plus games. And I think Sean Payton is going to use him in a way that they need to because their best running back on the field right now is Bo Nix. And they need to change that if they want to keep their franchise quarterback. So Amari Hampton, 20th pick. Sean Payton going to make this guy star.
Not Tay doing his homework. See, I told y'all these guys know their ball. Man talked about the carries and the 200-yard games and everything. Well, I'm gonna say this: you picking Amari Hampton made it a lot easier for me as a representative for the Steelers
Hmm.
organization. I've seen him mock
Yep.
to the Steelers a number of times, and I just don't think that franchise deserves another first round running back. Obviously, the Najee Harris era didn't work out for them as much as they would have liked it to. And I look at the Steelers, man, the same way I looked at the Saints. Uh, yes, you can take another player. Look, they needed some additional wide receiver help. I thought about Egbuka out of Ohio State. He's a little bit of a different taste to George Pickens and DK Metcalf. As a guy who can operate out of the slot and give you every route that you want. Thought about adding some beef on that defensive line. You can never have too many good defensive linemen.
Uh-huh.
But the void at quarterback, they got two quarterbacks on their roster, Skylar Thompson and Mason Rudolph. Like, come on. Like, even
Hmm.
if you get Aaron Rodgers, I just can't be comfortable with that quarterback room in the future of my franchise. And so, 21st pick, man, I'm taking Jackson Dart, quarterback, Ole Miss.
I seen that one coming from a mile.
Yeah.
You didn't notice I scrolled down automatically to hit
Yeah.
that first
It,
pick.
it's happening. Like, I
I
had
see
to, man.
it's
Like,
they definitely getting a quarterback.
All right. Chargers up next. Old Jim Harbaugh got the reputation of not wanting to draft offensive players in the first round. He's all about the trenches and whatnot. Your boy stole my pick, man, with Colston Loveland. I really wanted to get him. That was gonna be
Ooh.
a Michigan. That was gonna be a Michigan guy and a tight end.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna mess around and go with Mason Taylor. He's a tight end. He's
ooh,
Ooh.
a
Hey,
elite
okay.
pass catching tight end,
Man.
and he's gonna be able to be a blocker too. So you can't say,
I,
oh, we just got a weapon. He's gonna do it all. But he switched
I
it up on y'all this time and said we're gonna go with an elite pass catcher at tight end for with Herbert and Ladidi McConkey.
I love
Hey,
that pick. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm gonna say this. That's a great move because I told Trey this. I'm gonna say it was like a month ago now. I told him if Mason Taylor is sitting there at 31, that is they are running to that board and they taking him because that is the Kelsey replacement immediately. So good thing Chargers took him to keep him out of Kansas City.
I love that pick. That
Right.
23rd
was gonna be
pick,
my 26th pick.
23rd pick in this draft. I'm looking at everything here. Green Bay's got to fix that offensive line, man. I know they say edge is most important right now. I'm
Yep.
taking they got to fix this offensive line first and foremost. You got to keep Jordan Love upright. I'm gonna take Kelvin Banks here, but it could also be debated for Josh Simmons or Tyler Booker. I mean, you lost Bakhtiari, you really haven't truly replaced him. So
mhm.
I'm gonna just take Kelvin Banks. You can sit him at guard or you can sit him at offensive tackle, either one.
Okay.
So yeah,
So, division rival just took the Vikings pick. Unfortunately, Kelvin Banks would have been the pick, but you have J.J. McCarthy. You have to protect your young, basically rookie quarterback, but, pick isn't there. And Harrison Smith isn't getting any younger. He's approaching retirement age, as we know. And yes, Malachi Starks played for Georgia and everything, but the best safety, in my opinion, in this entire draft is Nick Amenwari, and I would think the Vikings would have to just run to the board to take him from South Carolina. I think he's actually better than Malachi Stark, so that would be my pick. And you get basically your heir apparent to Harrison Smith, who was probably 2 years away from retirement.
I go. That's a
Okay.
good pick. I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. He definitely the best safety in this draft. I
Yeah,
agree. I
don't
yep.
agree.
square up. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I'm running. I'm running to the podium for this one. It's pretty easy. Texans. We seen what that O line did to my boy CJ Stroud. in his sophomore season. Had a little sophomore slump. You know, for people who don't watch the games for real, they say, "Oh, the run game looked pretty good. Joe Mixon, all these yards." Well, I mean, Joe Mixon was averaging like damn near under 3 yards a carry if he wasn't breaking up them crazy ass runs because he's a really good back. So
Yeah.
they're gonna need some offensive line help for sure. A lot of options on the board. Josh Simmons, Grazeable, Great Zabel, Tyler Booker, but I think it's pretty simple here. I'm gonna take the best pass blocking tackle left on the board. Josh Simmons, 99.7 pass blocking efficiency grade last year. Really solid guy. Think it's really no brainer. Can't go wrong with really any of them offensive linemen left. But Josh Simmons gonna be the guy. Let's go ahead and protect them outside pocket sides for CJ Stroud.
Good little Tunsil replacement right there. I like
Um,
that. It's a lot.
Hmm.
I'm not mad at the O line pick. This sets up a pretty easy pick for me at 26. I definitely was going with Mason Taylor. You returned the favor on me, my guy, and took my other tight end. But the the Rams definitely need some help on the back end, and they need help at corner specifically, but they can use any type of help on the back end. So I'm gonna go with Malachi Starks from Georgia. Safety, rangy guy. I think he can play multiple positions, but the Rams just need talent, and I think he's the best player available right now for that defense. So we're gonna go with Malachi Starks from Georgia.
Well, I am regretting not having the whole trade rule now, because the two top safeties that I had on my board are all gone, and that was a position that I thought I could sneak in and give to the Ravens. Kind of mentioned this the other day. This is my favorite pick because they're a championship caliber team, and so when you're a championship caliber team, you're trying to figure out, okay, what are the pieces. And for me, I need to think about Lamar Jackson and what's going to help continue his development, his trajectory as a top player in this league.
Hmm.
Um, some really good players that can really help. Tyler Booker can help me on the line. Don't you click anybody yet?
I'm not clicking him.
I got some really good edges. Looking at James Pierce Jr. there, but what's the one thing we can say that the Baltimore Ravens don't have? That's a wide receiver one. Give me a Mecca Egbuka, and we're going to get Lamar Jackson his wide receiver one, and we're going to do some damage this upcoming season. We got some get back for Josh Allen. I can tell you that much. Let's go.
Ooh,
I
Let's
read your
Zay
go.
mind on
Flowers
that one.
disrespect.
I read your mind on that.
He's not a wide receiver one.
The Zay Flowers
Oh,
disrespect. Zay Flowers wide receiver.
Zay Flowers is not a
Hey,
wide
you,
receiver one.
Okay,
Emeka walks
he's
okay,
into
not a
that
wide
building
receiver
and
one.
okay,
Emeka
okay.
walks into that building and immediately becomes wide receiver one. Hopkins is old.
Oh no,
Zay is
no,
not
he
a
got to
one,
earn
bro.
that. He don't walk into it.
No, he's gonna walk in camp and earn it. I should rephrase that. That's what I mean.
Okay.
He
Well,
will show why.
Trey was Trey was kind of scaring me a little bit. He was saying some names, and I was like, "Oh damn, don't do it to me." But Detroit the defense was kind of getting mainly carried by Aaron Glenn's coaching. Real good coach for him. When Aiden Hutchinson went
Hmm.
down, it was a lot of good coaching going on to stop the bleeding as bad as it was. But it's not promised that Aiden Hutchinson is going to come back the same off that injury. And
Hmm.
I want to go with another edge rusher who has some pretty decent talent. So I'm gonna add James Pierce
Mm.
Jr. to it. You know, and if Aiden Hutchinson healthy, it's cool. This guy could come in and add. And if he's not, it's someone they could possibly gamble on to be a somewhat of replacement. Not quite the talent level, but still want to get another edge rusher just in case.
You stole my pick,
Okay.
man. Dang. Uh,
I'm stealing
hmm.
everybody picks.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna go through this list here, and I'm gonna tell you. Give me a second. Oof.
You really got. You really
You know who you
you
need
really
to
got
pick.
his guy.
You know who you need to pick.
Me?
I know who.
I
I
was
know
taking a
who.
running back, but dang, I might
No.
just take. I want to take that running back so bad. I want to take Travion. I really do. This is the spot. If we had trades, I'm trading out to the start of the second round. I'm letting a team come up for a quarterback. But since we don't have the trades available, I'm taking my boy Travion Henderson.
Jeez.
I'm taking him. He's a dog. He comes in. He gives you that Jahmyr Gibbs breakaway kind of speed. He can make moves backfield, catch passes like Brian Robinson can't. He's good and elite in pass protection. When I say elite, I mean he is truly elite at pass protection right out the gate. That's going to help Jaden Daniels a lot, and that gives that offense an extra step in it, and it makes it even more dangerous. If James Pierce was there, I would have took Pierce because they could use that pass rush help, but he's not there no more. So I'm gonna take this TreVeyon Henderson pick here at 29. But in reality, I think they trade down into the second round and take him then.
All right, so the Buffalo Bills are on the clock. Their top two receivers are Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakur. Outside of that, you have nothing. Now, I don't know how you really don't have too much weapons. I mean, you see how the Joe Brady offense operates. We've seen it all the way back at LSU when they had three receivers. You've seen it just this past season when they had Keon Coleman out there and Khalil Shakur. You need another weapon out there. And the fact that this man has fallen almost all the way into the second round just puzzles me because at one point he was considered one of the best receivers in the draft. And with the 30th pick, if I'm the Buffalo Bills, I'm going Luther Burden.
Okay. Hey, that's nice. That's nice.
Good pick.
Playmaker.
And before, I mean, and now going back to the Washington pick, if I was them, I would have taken Donovan Zerkaru from Boston College.
I was thinking about it.
That's my number one pick for Washington.
You didn't see me. I was debating that pick hard.
I don't know. I really don't know how to pronounce his last name. So if I pronounced it wrong,
I couldn't say his name. So I was like,
don't worry about it. Because
Zeraku.
When it go to the 32nd, when it go to the 32nd pick, he will be off the board.
Hey, that's good because pick 31.
I know the Chiefs.
We ain't
the
picking
Chiefs
him.
ain't draft for him.
And we ain't picking him.
I know it.
Hey, but don't worry. I'm finna do something y'all not finna expect. Because I know what y'all thinking. Man, the Chiefs O-line got beat up in that Super Bowl. Man, the trenches suck. Oh, they need a tackle bad. Oh, look, I know. But guess what? Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback. We're going to figure all that stuff out. You got one of the best offensive minds to ever touch the game, and Andy Reid. They're going to figure all that out. They're going to change some things around. I get it. But guess what? I see who's on the board. Logan probably know who I'm talking about because he noticed one of my favorite guys in this draft. And you know what? The other side of the ball got beat up too. The D-line got beat up. So guess what? I'm pairing Walter Nolan with Chris Jones. That's going to be a crazy D-line. We're going to have two insane, twitchy, super powerful D tackles up there in the middle. Walter Nolan can learn from Chris Jones. What a perfect guy to learn from. One of the best D tackles this game has seen. I could do Shamar Stewart because that right end, Mike Dan, I think his name. 3.5 sacks this year. It's all right, but we're going to push that pocket first. George Karlaftis, he's going to get active. So Walt Nolan. We taking him.
So basically, Kansas City's gonna be picking in this range again next year. Great, it's awesome.
Hey, I love that pick because the team that beat down on the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, we could have went with Walter Nolan because we did lose Milton Williams. We lost Josh Sweat, so we going D-line. I could go Shamar Stewart, but I told you I was going Donovan. I'll let Logan finish his last name because I can't pronounce it. But we're gonna go with Ed Iziraku out of Boston College. And the Eagles are very good at drafting, and they're one of the teams who can afford like project players.
Okay.
But I think he can get on the field with the on third downs and make some plays. So we're gonna go with him to help this pass rush out. They wrecked the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line in the Super Bowl, so they're gonna keep doing that this year and hopefully make another deep playoff run.
It also helps that they have one of the greatest minds of all time as their defensive coordinator, so that also helps.
Thank you, Logan. I appreciate that, man.
I was talking about Vic Fangio, but okay, Dante.
I know you wasn't talking about you. I just said appreciate you adding that.
Okay.
But here's the thing: that's a very Philadelphia Eagles like pick. Like they done brought in all these cheap edge rushes that's like 25, 26 years old.
Yes, I wish we could do that.
Right.
Yes, thank you.
Instead of drafting undeveloped, injury prone.
Right. Get the
defensive.
first round
Turner,
edge you can
Marcus
develop behind these
Davenport.
guys trying to get their money. Like,
What is it with
Man.
the Saints? They want to draft people from like Russia State or something, or people out of Moscow. These small town schools. I mean,
Moscow.
I love D2, D3 schools. I support all of them. I watch all of them, but it's just like, why are you taking somebody from literally in the middle of Alaska who went up against freaking nobody in the first round? I hate that they do that, and I really think they need to fix the dang scouting department. And if that means Jeff Ireland's ass has to go, then get him out of here.
Hey,
I
hold on
told
now. Look,
Trey.
Jeff Ireland, he need to get me a job. So look, Jeff need to be cool right now. He might mess around and draft me. I
It's
seen him
all
over
right.
there at practice.
It's all right, man. You might replace him if he gets you a job. You might replace his ass.
Please, if you get hired, please hire.
Yeah.
Bro,
Hey,
I'm
we
so
gonna
over
fix
all
this
of
team,
this.
man.
no, man, but hey, this is a good draft. Obviously, I have the biggest reach of the draft, but I think
Yes, you do.
anybody that's
Yes, you do.
I think anybody that's kind of been looking at just this NFL draft, the amount of talent towards the back end of the draft, like it
Mhm.
shows. Like this could very well be a live thing where some of these guys that were top 10, top 15 prospects, they're going to be falling, into the latter part of the first and even into the second. Like Logan hit the nail on the head with Luther Burden. Like this dude came into last season as the top wide receiver on the board, maybe a top 10 pick.
Mhm.
And like for him to be at the back end to go to the league or the reigning league MVP as his quarterback,
Yeah.
like come on.
Should he
Like,
have been league
there's gonna be a lot of
MVP?
things
That's
like that.
debatable, but
I
we're looking
mean,
into
shit,
that
the
discussion.
same. Look at
Well,
Ollie
that is
Gordon.
out.
Ollie Gordon
That
ain't
is
even
out.
here. He ain't
That
even
is
here. He
out.
was a
That-
consensus
Wait.
guy.
let
He
me
was
ask y'all a
consensus guy
question.
all last year.
Do we
Let me
have
ask y'all
more
a question
tight
about
ends
the
drafted
board.
in the first
Hold on.
round than receivers? Do we have more tight
Hold
ends
up.
drafted in the first round than
Yep.
receivers?
We got
Tyler
1,
Warren,
Yeah.
Colston
2,
Loveland,
3. Oh shit. We got the same
Ain't
amount.
that crazy?
Onyeka,
Same
Terry.
amount.
Same
Oh,
All
amount.
right.
okay. What? But still,
No,
No,
it's a
four.
lot. Like, you
There's
four
know.
wide
four.
receivers.
4 wide receivers, 3 tight ends.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I got a
Yeah.
question for all y'all though. Who's
Mhm.
y'all favorite pick from somebody else on the board? If we could go down the
Jihad
line and pick
Jihad
that.
Campbell for sure.
We
Jihad Campbell
we gonna
for
get
the
Jihad.
Cardinals. Easy,
Yeah.
easy.
I mean,
Okay.
I've been very vocal about G.I. Campbell. I think he's one of the best draft linebacker prospects I've ever seen in the last 2 decades, and that's even over Luke Kuechly. I mean, I know that might be a reach, but I mean, G.I. Campbell just has every single thing you want in a linebacker, and
hmm
he reminds me of prime 2013 Bobby Wagner, and my God, he just jumps off the page, off of film. I mean, I would if I was the Saints and they don't reach for a quarterback at 9, I'd even take him at 9. That's how high I am on G.I.
Mhm.
Campbell.
No,
I'll
that's
take
dead
him.
ass
You
though.
really do talk
Logan
just
Logan
like
Wright,
Okay.
that's dead ass.
Mel Kiper. You
Yeah,
see, he
mine
literally
was
does, like the way how he just says, like jumps off the tape and stuff, bro. He sounds just like Mel, bro.
yeah. Like
But he
I
can't be
really
Mel
like the
Kiper
Jason
Jr. You
Taylor
got to
pick.
be Mel
Like
Kiper the second.
I'll just be
He
Logan
already a
Graffia.
junior.
I'll, I'll just be Logan Graffia, and if I have to be the heir apparent to Mel, that's fine with me.
no, man, I think my pick. I like the Mason Taylor pick because one, it was unexpected, but
Yeah.
when you think about what he can bring to that Titans offense with Justin Herbert, um, like that's exciting. So that was a pick that stood out. That was like, oh, that's a really good pick. So
The Mike Green
Okay.
pick to Tampa, that's gonna
I hate that so much
cause
because Todd Bowles
problems
is
for
so
that division.
great at defense.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. What's y'all least favorite pick from another team?
Oh, I know what
Don't say
Logan finna
Jalen
say.
Milrow.
Logan don't even
Don't
gotta
say
say nothing.
Jalen
Logan ain't even
Milrow.
gotta say nothing. Logan don't
Do
even
you want
gotta
me
say
to?
nothing.
Logan one
Without
time.
the Jalen Milrow. Without
Well, I'm
Jalen
gonna go
Milrow.
Smith. I'm just kidding.
Do you want me to
Without
say what
Jalen
mine
Milrow.
is?
Without
I
Jalen
can mute
Milrow.
it, you know.
Then I'm not saying a word. Then
All right,
Yeah, well then.
excluding the Saints pick, which y'all
We'll
feel
start
like
from
was
low
a
and go
reach.
up.
I think
Yeah, go ahead, Logan.
least favorite for me outside of the Milrow one, of course. I really just find it hard to believe that the Giants are going to take Shadur. I mean, I know he wants to be in the big market, but I mean, just all signs are pointing to Abdul Carter. And I mean, now the Giants could trade back up because it just seems like for whatever reason that Shadur is going to slide. I mean, you don't bring in
NFL
Russell. I mean,
overthinking.
right? It just feels like
yeah, but here's the
this
thing.
GM and coaching staff just they're a 1 year rental. It's basically
Yeah.
you're going to the U-Haul place, you're renting out your van to move, and then you got to bring it back
Mhm.
the next day. That's what the Giants seem like right now. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't see Dable
but
being there.
here's the
I don't
thing.
see Joe
Mhm.
Shane being there. They're going to be looking at a new GM and coach next year, and I would hate to see Shadur go through another coordinator and head coaching change. Because I mean, when he was in college, I mean, going from Jackson
Mhm.
State all the way to Colorado, the amount of coordinator turnovers. I mean, the longest tenured one I think was Pat Shermer at Colorado the
Mhm.
last 2 years. So
Yeah, but I'll say
Mhm.
this about the
Uh,
Giants, and I'll defend that pick again a little bit. You have Jameis on a
Mhm.
2-year, $8 million deal. That's not money. You get out of that in a year if you want to. Russell Wilson's deal is actually 1 year, 10 million. They can get up to 21 in incentives. So those are guys we can really keep around, and we can look to our future another time. So you know, you kind of initially thought with those two acquisitions that they're definitely not going quarterback. But if you are a lame duck head coach, a lame duck GM, but at the same time you still have to behave and do the job. Is that, hey, I got a veteran that can win me some games enough
Mhm.
to get the owner off my back, but then I also have a kid that can say, hey, we're developing him and we need a shot with him too. So it's kind of like covering their behinds with some veteran presence, but at the same time still
Okay.
saying, hey, we might still have a future. And Shador can probably do a lot more for them from a future standpoint than Abdul can. But that's also assuming we've been hearing about the whole Kayvon Thibodeau possibly getting traded thing. So who knows
I
what
will
happens with
say
that?
this. I will say this. Four quarterbacks was drafted. Trey drafted three. So we know he big on quarterbacks.
Yes, yes, he is.
I will also add with what you were talking about the Jameis you can get out of that deal. The Jets did the same thing, and I believe it was 21 where they signed not 21, 2019 or whatever the year. They had signed Teddy and they immediately traded him during training camp to the Saints for a third round
Mm-hmm.
pick. I believe actually that might have been the Darnold year actually, not the
It was a Donald year, yeah.
21 Darnold
so
year,
then we
yeah.
had Teddy.
They signed Teddy, expecting him to be the starter, and then they didn't expect the Browns to take Baker 1, and then they got
Mm.
Darnold at 3. Took Darnold, and they traded out Teddy even though the contract wasn't that bad or whatever. So if you take Shadur at 3 as the Giants, you could just trade Jameis to a contender to be a backup because as we saw last year, starter goes down, you don't want your season derailed. You could probably get a fourth, fifth, sixth round pick for Jameis easy, but so
Okay.
I can
What's
see
your
I can
least
see
favorite
that.
pick?
Mine,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go through this thing here. Kind of like all the picks. I don't think the Patriots take Mason Graham though. If Abdul Carter's there at 4, I think they take him.
Mhm.
But I can see the
I
logic of
will say
why you said Mason Graham. I can see the logic behind that. But you could just go wait till the start of the second round and get a D tackle there. Or
Mhm.
at
but
32, me and my boy Jay Peeps on the run and gun. We were talking about it where I like the Donovan pick, but the NFL like Eagles can just say F you to the entire NFL and take Desmond Watson, I believe his name is, from Florida, the big boy. I could just see them saying F you to the entire NFL and taking him at 32 and say, y'all trying to stop the tush push? Well, we're taking the
Hold
one guy
on.
y'all think can stop it.
You talking about the
not,
guy who was close
not
to like 400 pounds?
He
Yeah,
is
He is
400
Yeah.
400. He
pounds.
like 430. Like, yeah, he for real
Yeah,
No, he
give
430.
him
ain't
a year. That
430. I
boy will
think
be
he's
down
like
to 300.
404.
I think I
He
the
lost a
watched
reason
little
him.
I
weight. Shout
did
out
I
to
take
think I
Graham.
watched
Mason
this
Graham.
interview. I think I just watched this interview on Shay Shay with him and Ocho. I think if that's what y'all talking about,
yeah,
I'm
that's
not
him.
sure.
He's like
Yeah.
over 400 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
said
but
he
give him
lost.
with the
He said he
Eagles
lost like
training
30
staff. Well,
pounds
he gonna
though.
lose that weight.
Yeah.
But the reason I did take Mason Graham though,
Hmm.
I honestly almost forgot about Abdul Carter, but I did have him penciled down because of the injury kind of situation with Abdul Carter right now. Like the talent
Right.
is undeniable. On he could have probably won number 1, right? But he didn't run
Hmm.
at the combine because of whatever he got like an ankle or something going on, and then he didn't do something at his pro day, and then it's kind of like, what's going on? Is he trying to hide something? And I kind of didn't want to go with my first pick as like, all right, is this going to be an injury thing? I would still rather get somebody that is at a high talent level, even though it's D tackle, somebody that's still a high level player at that position, than deal with the injury stuff that's going on with him. So that's kind of like
You,
another reason why
you
I went
actually
with Mason
Good
Graham.
call.
mentioned the injury thing, and I forgot Christian Barmore's got his own injury concerns. So it actually makes more sense now that I think about it. I completely forgot about it because he missed most of this year with some kind of injury. I don't
Blood
remember what it
clot.
was, but he missed it. Blood clot. Yeah, I can see that pick now making more sense. But I like all y'all pick. I'm gonna be real. Y'all. I think we did a really good job with this draft.
And the other pick that I wouldn't say I did not like it, because it's still a good pick, because at 21 he's still a good prospect, and I think he
Mhm.
got some upside. But I just don't like his situation, because the Steelers just have shown that they don't look like they know what they're doing with
Mhm.
grooming a quarterback. But the pick to get him there is not a bad
Mhm.
thought process. It's just the people who's in charge of cultivating and trying to groom that guy. And I'm not really a big fan of
Mhm.
Arthur Smith, and I think Mike Tomlin is a little bit out of
Mhm.
touch with offense and getting up to date. So not the
Yeah.
thought process behind the pick, but the situation that he's going
Well,
to
you know
be in.
Mhm.
what's funny?
You mentioned
Arthur
Just the
that
Smith was
team.
players
one of
not
the
knowing what they're
reasons why
doing.
I agree with
Right.
Jackson Dart here. Just because when I think about his success as a play caller, having a guy like Ryan Tannehill that's, you know, a Caucasian quarterback with some athleticism.
Yeah.
Um, and a team that's going to build.
Sounds
I mean,
familiar.
this is what they're going to do, right? They're going to build it around their run game, and then you just added you have two dynamic wide receivers now. And so, look,
Mm-hmm.
if Aaron Rodgers comes, that's great because now I don't even have to play Jackson Dart year one. Because
Yeah.
if I got to choose between Jackson Dart, Mason Rudolph, and Skylar Thompson, I just got to
Yeah. You
throw
gonna.
Jackson Dart in there. And then to your point, I'm finding myself in the same situation I found myself in with Kenny Pickett, where it was him and Mitch Trubisky. And I started Trubisky for a few games, but like at some point, I got to throw the kid in because I spent the first round pick on him. So,
Yeah.
to that
Mhm.
point, that could have major implications on the negative side because you drafting the quarterback high in the first round. To me, it's no different. I think whether you draft him in the first round or the second round, that's a player that you're hoping is going to start for you in the near future and be your franchise guy at that position. So you got to get it right. And we already saw them
Mhm.
did it wrong just because they didn't listen to me. They spent a first round pick on a third round prospect. But that's just
Right.
my senior citizen bias, though. That's senior citizen
So
quarterback bias.
no, he's still a way
Word.
better prospect than Pickett was, though. Like,
Yeah.
I think again, it's still a good pick. It's what they got going on over there with the Steelers to me. But yeah, I agree.
Word.
I would personally swap 21 and 9, but that's just me.
Word. What about
We
you,
know
Nah,
Trey?
Logan.
I'm
We
with Trey
know
Well,
on
no,
it.
Logan.
I'm
We
with
know
Trey on that
Logan.
pick. I mean, not at 9, but I'm with him on Milrow over Dart. Just
Hey,
from an
look, I'm
upside
cool.
standpoint, I think you let Milroy's marinate for a little bit, but he will be good.
I'm cool with Milrow too, considering the head coach we got and what quarterback he just coached a Super Bowl. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm.
think Milrow fits that a little bit more than Dart does. So trust my coach there.
One more
The
pick I'd talk
good thing
about
about
too.
good thing
Oh,
about my client Kellen Morris, he can do it with anybody. So uh, he can do it with the Hurts
Anybody.
types, he can do it with the Herbert types, but he can do it with the Dak types, both when you were mobile and when you couldn't be mobile anymore. Um, so he's pretty good at that.
Word.
I mean, outside of Cam Ward, really, none of these quarterbacks to me are like people that's going to come in and start right away and just rock your socks off. And to me, if we just
agreed.
going off ceilings, I know the guy needs work. Trust me, I know Jalen Milroe needs work. But if we going off ceilings, I think he has the highest boom or bust potential. So if you want to kind of work off that, I think his ceiling is higher than Jackson Dart for sure. So I mean, I can understand what wanting to get him there, but I also understand people angst as well. So I'm cool with either or Jackson Dart or Milroe at 9 at that point. You know.
How about my boy Tyler Shuck?
Oh,
No, that's a disaster.
some
That's
some
a
things don't,
disaster waiting
some
to happen.
things need not to be discussed, man. Some,
do
some
you
It's all
want
right.
everybody
It's
to
all
start?
right, man. Just grab Kyle McCord.
I'm actually okay with Common Cord over
I'm not,
both of them.
bro. I'll be real.
I'd
That
rather
man.
Common Cord over Milrow Inshuck, man. Common
Mute,
I
Cord.
mute,
can't
Common
mute
have
his
Core,
a
mic.
conversation on
Mute his
Common
mic
Core.
right
Common
now.
Core, Kyle
I
McCoy is
bet.
the
I mean,
reason why
I ain't
Emeka
trying to hear
Egbuka
nothing
was
about no
available
shuck.
at 27 and not
I ain't
already in
trolling.
the NFL. So um, that's neither here nor there. I like Kyle McCoy, but unfortunately, the NCAA is ridiculous because he should be the starting quarterback at Syracuse right now. But because they can't get their stuff together, he has to go to the NFL. So kind of sucks for him because I think he would have been a possible first round, second round pick in next year's draft. But now he's a
I
current
saw that
fourth,
man. I
fifth
saw that
round
man in the Big
prospect
Ten.
being talked about. Same thing with Tyler Shuck. I mean, cool kid. I love his journey, battled
He a
through
kid?
injuries to be able to finish his
Yeah, kid,
career.
man is
You
older
know,
than half of
but
us in this
He's 2 years younger than
conversation.
me.
Oh wait, you ancient, so that's different.
I'm only.
Bro
How
got
old
a
he?
bro got
He
a
older
picture
than
with
me.
Brock Purdy. Bro got a picture with Brock Purdy in like high school or college or something, man. I'm like, bro.
and Brock was a 4 year
Uh.
starter. That's what like Brock was a 4 year starter in college. And
This
what
guy's like
Brock
a
was on his 3rd
7 year
year.
starter, isn't he?
Bro,
Yeah, he got
bro,
hurt six
He's
of the
like
they
years.
got
seven
a
years.
pic. They got a picture with dude throwing the JuanJohnson at Oregon, dude.
Oregon, yes.
It-
I mean, come on.
Wow.
I mean,
And
But
Jawan been in
but
the
here's
league
the
what
thing.
four,
I ain't
five
even gonna
years
lie,
now.
man. I don't give a damn. Like I don't care if Tyler Shuck was 32. If he could ball, I would be for it. But it's the
He hasn't
that
shown
re-
what's on
anything.
speed. Like it's not even the age. Like hell, Brandon
Um,
Whedon at his age looked good, so I understood why the Browns drafted him when they did. But
there is
I
zero production to warrant it. That's all I gotta say.
I agree.
That's
I
Louis
mean,
Man, I
Radcliffe
saw
he,
that.
guy.
huh?
I ain't started hearing about Buddy till about 3 weeks ago. I ain't hear about him at all during the season, nowhere throughout his college,
Right.
career ever.
Correct.
3 weeks
You
ago,
know
I
how it
heard the
go.
name once, and then it's just Tyler Shuck. I'm like, what?
Flying up draft boards. Flying up the
Tired of
draft
boys.
boards.
I was gonna
Somebody
entertain him.
gonna
I
pick
ain't
him.
gonna lie. Until I saw
Somebody
that
gonna pick him.
little throwaway tape they did. We throwing the ball away and all that. I said, oh hell no, I
mm-mm.
can't get with that
I'll be real.
nonsense.
He doesn't even look better than Zach Wilson did coming out.
His player comp from a couple of experts is Derek Carr, so that's the
Oh,
definition of
perfect.
But
insanity.
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
That's
let's
the
take him.
definition. Literally, from a few draft experts that I've listened to, they literally said, "Oh,
I think
his
that's
his
unfair.
pro comp is Derek Carr." So
I
the
think that's
definition of
unfair.
insanity is literally doing the same
Tyler's
thing
a
over
little bit.
again.
Tyler's a little
That
bit
ain't
more
I
help
ain't
his
experienced
falling
case
than
with
for
the
the
that.
Saints.
memes.
Like Tyler's a
I ain't
dual
falling
threat
for the
cornerback.
memes.
It's like
Kellen
the
Moore
Eagles
just
for me.
came from coaching with
dual threat
Prescott,
quarterback doesn't mean
Herbert,
break
and
your leg
and,
every
and
run.
Jalen Hurts.
Kellen's got to earn my trust now with these quarterback picks because I mean, in my opinion, it's the most important position you have to draft this year. If you miss on it, then you're right back in the tank again next year. Because I mean, next year's class is going to be decent, but I mean, this year is very important to get the right one.
Mhm.
Nah,
I
man, earn your trust is a little bit too much, man. You talking about a Super Bowl winning OC and a dude who been successful
Okay,
everywhere.
that's
Yeah,
as an
nah.
offense.
He
All
did that
right,
with the Eagles. He got to do that with us.
so let
Nah,
me say
man, we
this.
cool.
All right, let me put it this way. So he was never the general. He's always been like the lieutenant, kind of, as the offensive coordinator. Now he's the general. He's
Not
running.
the Matt Moscona.
This is
True.
his military. This is his soldiers now. How is he going to
So
run this
you
team?
think Nick Sirianni was running the offense last year?
I mean,
No,
no, I'm
running
not
a
saying he was
team,
running.
not the
I'm talking
offense.
about
Nah,
not
but
the
he wasn't
offense. I'm
running
talking
the
about running
Oh,
the
you
team.
mean the
He's
team.
team?
saying being the
I'm
head
talking
Okay,
about.
coach.
okay, about it.
That's what he's
Okay.
Team.
saying.
I'm talking about. Okay, Kellen Moore has been a lieutenant for 3 different teams. Now he's the
Mhm.
general. He's running the show. Everyone has to do and say what he does. Jump how high, all this like they do in the military. So how is he
That's
going to be
every
as the gen?
first year head coach. So
I mean, I know he's the
See,
first, but you have to earn that trust. I mean, I know he's a
I
first year
mean,
head coach,
okay,
but I mean, you have
just
to
making
earn
sure.
trust.
seems like
I
he's
I
mean,
gonna be like a Dan Campbell a little
That's
bit. He
true.
gonna let his DC do his DC. I mean, obviously he gonna
right.
run the O, but it seems like he's gonna be a pretty laid back guy. Which I mean, a lot of teams respond to that, a
Dan
lot
Campbell
don't.
ain't
So
laid
Dan
back.
Campbell and Wade back is like
Dan
two
Campbell
things
is
that
not
He's
laid
completely
not
back.
different
laid
things.
back.
I wasn't talking about Dan
Yeah,
Campbell.
Dan
I'm talking
Campbell's not
about
laid
Campbell
I'm
back.
didn't
talking
get his
about
time.
I'm talking about Killen being laid back. We know Dan Campbell's one of the
Oh,
most
well,
intense guys on the planet.
yeah, I was about to say. You say he got to be more like Campbell. Oh, what?
No, I just mean like when I mean by Campbell, I mean he just lets his coaches coach. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Sirianni does the same thing. I mean, I love Nick Sirianni, so if he's the same thing as that, then I'm all
I
for
ain't
it.
gonna lie, the Eagles win despite Sirianni. I ain't gonna cap to you. That's my hot take.
that is very
Hey,
true.
but that's why you have to
I
hire one,
mean,
right?
I mean, they could say that, but at the end of the day, he still is the head coach, and he got to be the liaison over all those different groups of men. And there's a lot of different personalities, which is another reason I do like Kellen, that he come from being with Dallas, come from being with Chargers, what
Chaos.
not to do right, and then you go to the Eagles where they winning, but they got a lot of turmoil, a lot of stuff going around, so you know how to
Yep.
work, even when the environment isn't perfect. So I do like that experience of him being around all that craziness that he'll be able to
Okay.
come here. And I think we're a little bit more calm than Dallas and Philly in that
Mm.
sense of all that shit going on. You feel me?
All right,
So,
I'm
I
gonna pose
agree.
mhm.
this question to the round table. What is your doomsday scenario for the Saints in terms of the draft? Like,
Jamal
what is the
Stewart and Tyler Shaw.
worst draft to have? I just want to know. And what is the best?
Tyler Shaw and Jamal Stewart. I ain't gonna lie. I can't do another
Yeah,
project again. I can't do it,
I
bro. I
agree.
can't do it.
honestly,
I agree.
I would say doomsday. Really, I won't even put it to a prospect. I think it's if you're wrong on if you assume that hey, I can get me a best player at another position at 9, and then come back to get my quarterback, and then you end up having the Tyler Shucks, the Kyle McCords, the Will Howards as your only available options. Um, I think if you're really high, you did your homework on these quarterbacks. You gotta come
Don't be
out with
afraid to
one,
pick them at 9.
and and don't be afraid to pick them at 9, because guess what? If you trust your development process and the plan for them, then nobody's going to care how they pan out. But
All right,
if
like
you
Michael
don't,
Pittman last year.
if you don't come out of this quarterback or come out of this class with a quarterback, it's going to be hard because you then can't say, oh, well, we're going to build around Spencer because you could have just easily been building that up on the off season and everybody in one voice saying, oh, Spencer's the guy we're developing. He's going to be our guy. And we don't have to worry
Mhm.
about the quarterbacks in this draft.
All right,
And that could be a help.
I'm
But I just think if
I'm
you
gonna
miss
pose the next
and you
one.
don't get if you don't get an opportunity to take your swing at a Shador if he falls, or take your swing at a Dart or Milrow, with wherever they're supposed to be getting picked, I think you kind of screwed yourself from a long term development standpoint. And then I think you got to get some starters. Well, we have 4 picks, like in the top, like 4 top picks or
6 and a
something like that.
150, huh?
6 and a
We
one
got
fifty.
6 and
Four
a
Like,
top
150.
100.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
like
got 4 top 100s.
Mhm.
yeah, you got to
6
get
and
you got to get
150.
some contributors. Like
Yeah,
You
I
got to
can't
get
have
I
my
think
second
starters.
and third
Day
round
one
pick
starters.
on the sideline, right? Like I can't have my second round pick, my third round pick, just sitting on the
Isaiah
sideline.
Foskey.
Isaiah
Exactly. Like
Foskey.
yeah.
you
Yes.
got to play.
Jinx.
I
Jinx.
I think a doomsday. I think a doomsday for sure is at pick 9. If you go with something, take quarterback out of it. I think we could draft a quarterback and they say, all right, we're gonna sit him and we're not gonna trip out as much. But if you go with something that's 9 quarterback and they're not a good player or they're not a starter,
Mm.
I think that's bad. Or like Trey said, if they do something the way they trade back to try to get more picks and then they get players that's not as good as if they would have stayed at 9. Any one of those, if you don't
Okay.
get some type of starter at 9, is a bad time with all this talent in
My,
the draft. You can't mess around like
I
that. To
agree.
me,
I'll go
I
opposite of
agree.
that too. I think trading up might be doomsday
Oh,
because as much as I love the
Mm,
guys that's
yeah.
ahead, the amount of draft capital that we're gonna have to spend to get that. And the problem with the Saints is the Saints don't necessarily draft super horrible, like relative to a lot of other teams. If you look
right.
at draft hit percentage
Yeah.
and all that, we're actually like top 15, top 10, something like that. But we just don't draft enough. Like we got 9 picks this year. On average, we're picking like 6, 7. The other teams are picking 9, 10, 11. I mean, that's 3, 4 more starters potentially that other teams have over us, which is why it feels like with the Green Bay game, it just felt like we was just completely outmatched, outclassed. The depth had none. I mean, imagine if we had 3, 4 extra picks every single year. Like that adds up.
Imagine
So
if you used your pick 40 last 2 years ago on an actual player who could actually get on the field and actually do something.
Yeah, at least try to get them
exactly.
on the field, right? Look what happened when
Yeah.
you put somebody on the field when you use them right. Zach Bond. Can we at least see
Exactly.
Isaiah Foskey? Please. God damn.
Right.
y'all
We
And
y'all
don't
kind of
even
hit
know
the
if we
nail
don't
on the
even know
head,
if he
bro.
bad or not. Like we don't even know if he bad or not. Put him on the field.
We
right.
we we have a few second and like y'all hitting the nail on the head. We have a few second and third round picks. Like we kind of scoff at that and just look at the first round pick, but having Foskey and Kendrick Miller not contributing, that is kind
Yes.
of
Mm-hmm.
big. That's
Yes.
big too.
And
Yeah, you right.
and that leads me to something that I've been thinking about when like a lot of the you just pick the best player at 9 and then you trade back in for a quarterback. And it's like I'm asking myself, is what's gonna be left of Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart? Let's just throw Tyler Shuck in because he's the buzz right now. Or they were 3 starters? Because I'm thinking I'm
No,
have to give up 40, probably have to give up one of my thirds, and I'm probably gonna have to give up a second or a third next year.
No. No.
the
And
talent level ain't that
am
high
I
with none of them.
willing, and knowing to Calvin's point how devoid we are of talent, and we have 9 picks in this draft and a chance, especially in like the first 6, to really add some starters and some key depth players. Are we willing to
Hmm.
give up those picks when we just like if people are gonna say we reaching at 9, they're gonna say we reaching at 9. But guess what? We got 8 other picks to make sure whoever we
Correct.
pick that quarterback at 9, they have the best chance at success. And I'm
I
I'm just
agree.
more in line with doing something like that as opposed to trying to trade back in. Now everybody knows what I'm trading in for, and if I really
Yes.
want it that bad, I gotta pay that price. I don't have a choice. I can't say
If it
no.
That's true.
scraps, if it scraps for a quarterback, if we trade not well up from the second round, those guys you mentioned, Shaw, the Will Howards,
Mhm.
the other guys who might be there late in the first. I'd rather roll with Spencer Rattler if we gonna pick one of
Fact,
those guys because
fact,
Yeah,
I don't think one
exactly.
Yeah,
of them.
fact.
I don't think one of them. I don't think them guys are better than Spencer Rattler. Like coming out
I
right
don't.
now, especially with Kellen Moore. You get a new offensive coach, Spencer Rattler. It was some turmoil last year with Dennis Allen switching coaches, a lot of injuries. I think everybody can at least see he didn't get a fair shake with the offense. I don't think he had a wide receiver one for damn near one game.
Now, I mean,
So,
he did get Olave hurt the first
Yeah,
game.
who
but
Derek Carr,
I
but
Spencer?
mean, Derek Carr did that
look,
multiple times. So I mean,
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah.
Carr
I'm
I'm gonna
gonna
did
say
multiple
say.
this.
times, but I'm saying he did get Olave hurt one of the other times. Like, got
I ain't
blessed
gonna
with
All right.
say
Olave.
that
So
he
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 got
did.
got
He
a
blessed with
did.
fair
like
shake.
him.
yeah, but
It
my
gave him
point is, if
ample
you're gonna get
time
one
to
of them
start.
quarterbacks,
Yeah,
stick
yeah,
with
yeah.
Rattler. If you're gonna get one of them quarterbacks, stick with Rattler.
All
If
right.
you're gonna get one of
I'm
them at the end
gonna
of the
I'm gonna
first.
throw something out here for y'all. So back in
Go ahead.
2020, the Chargers traded up to number 23 from 37, giving up only 37 and 71 to do it. Now, if
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
include QB tax, I'd assume you would add another third. Would y'all do that?
Oh,
So
so
let's
what we
say
traded?
you're giving up 40, your first of your thirds, and your third next year.
I
Let's just
can't
say,
do it.
For
or
who?
I need.
Hold up,
I
for
need. I
who?
need as many
for
picks.
to get up to 20. So like, let's say you took
No,
best player
no,
available at 9, and then you
Nah, I
trade up to
can't.
23 for Milrow.
no,
I can't
Oh,
do it. I can't
no.
do
trade
it.
back
We
in
need.
with
We
for
need
the
as many
Chargers.
picks as possible. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, and that's kind of where
I
I'm
don't
at. I
know.
mean, and look,
Yeah,
if as an
I just wanted to make sure
organization,
we got
right?
on the same page on it.
And
Nah,
you
I'm
know, and I
good.
pose that question to y'all just to see what y'all think. But of course, if the organization paying that tax and they feel that hey, that player can help us overcome not having 3 starters
And
that
I'm
we
not
would have
mad
had a
at
group
that
of
Uh,
trade.
players, right?
If the organization put their foot down and make a decision and say, "Oh, we going with this quarterback. We want this guy." Hey, finally, we not drafting a quarterback in the third, fourth, or fifth round and just playing
Mm-hmm.
around with it. If you're gonna get your guy, get him in the first round.
Yeah,
That's
I
how I
agree.
feel.
I agree.
Get him at
Yep.
I
I
nine.
agree.
would rather
Other
mess
than
up.
that,
I would rather mess up with the number 9 pick than to trade a buku picks to get back in and do some wild
yes,
stuff.
Right.
right.
That's me
I
But
agree.
to
personally.
your point, you didn't give up anything at 9. That was your pick. You picked who you
Exactly.
wanted.
Yep.
You got your
You just
plan,
missed.
and we can figure
Right.
that out. But once
I
we
agree.
start giving up capital, like we just can't. And then like we not out of the clear with the whole cap space situation. So we
Nope.
need to start getting some young guys in that can root out some of these older
Hmm.
guys, still be on cheap contracts while we
Nah,
get
Hmm.
that money
charge.
right. So, um, but yeah, man,
All right.
I don't want to
Yeah.
keep y'all too much longer. But this is good. I think we had a good draft. I think it was much better than last year too. I think we put a lot. I think last year we just did picks, but I think us being able to add a little bit of knowledge of and perspective as to
Hmm.
why we were going with the picks we were going with was really good. These are all really talented players. Um, and I think Thursday you're gonna see talented players like this fall, right? Like that's kind of like the beauty of it. So when we talking about are we really willing to give up picks in a draft like this where
Yeah.
Like somebody might overthink a Walter Nolan. Somebody might overthink, like a Luther Burden or whatever it is. Like they just asked for film of him running multiple routes. I'm like, bruh, this dude was the #1 rated wide receiver coming out of high school. Like he can run routes, but just the
No, I
overthinking.
mean
There's
what's
gonna
his
be
name?
some really good
Dorian
prospects,
Green
man.
Beckham.
Like,
What was his name? Nah, you're saying #1 guy coming out of high school. And I'm thinking about that guy
Oh, from
Tennessee drafted
Missouri.
in the.
From
Yeah,
Missouri.
Dorian Green
Dorian
Beckham.
Green Beckham.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Dorian Green Beckham. I was like, I think this is that
Sheesh.
one. I want to
Tall,
say.
hey,
lanky
Yeah,
guy.
just
that was
like
our
Tall,
favorite
lanky
let's take
guy.
a
players,
little
boy.
pause on it.
That's a
That's all I gotta
blast
say
from
on
the
that. I was just
past.
messing.
That was our favorite players in college, man. But
Tall,
no,
skinny guy.
but look for
All right.
everybody's gonna watch this video. This is not any intel or anything like that. This is just us seeing who's on the board, doing our homework on different teams and what they might need, and going about it that way. But Thursday is gonna be exciting. If you're a fan of one of the 32 teams, it's always an exciting time for you. Some
Unless you're a
teams like
Dolphins
our
fan.
Saints, we've been thinking about the draft since September, since week 3. But but we're here now, and it's gonna be fun. And there's gonna be some overreactions. There's gonna be some that player is not really that good, and they end up becoming a star. There's gonna be some players that we are head over heels for, and they become duds. But at the end of the day, it's not the prospect's fault for who drafted them and where they drafted them. It's up to that team to develop them and make sure that they're right. So never blame the player, blame the organization because it's their fault.
Yep. And y'all drop who y'all think made some good picks, bad picks in the comments too when the video drops, y'all.
Yeah, for sure.
Put your
Mhm.
winners and losers.
But with all that being said, man, y'all know how in the show. If there's anything that we said or did that offended you, right? It's a good thing. It's an opportunity for us to learn, and it's an opportunity for you to teach us. All we ask is that you keep it respectful. Peace.
Peace.